Hi, adoptive parents. Sherry Eldridge, your adoption coach here, bringing a message to you kind of as a parallel to what we're talking about in the All Adoptee Boot Camp this week. We're talking about feelings of not belonging. And we always begin with the story of Moses. Because we can identify with Moses, he was our fellow adoptee and had many similar issues that we do. And yet he became one of the greatest leaders of all time and one that God called his friend. Well, anyway, when Moses was just about 4 or 5 years old, Jochebed and Amram, his birth parents, had promised to take him to his adoptive mother, Hatshepsut, and she was Pharaoh's daughter. She was the princess. And can you imagine what it was like for them as birth parents? I can just see Amram, the birth father, pacing back and forth and saying to himself, how am I ever going to tell a 5-year-old that we're taking him to this strange place and we're never going to be back? And I can see Jochebed, the birth mom, kissing his brow and stroking his hair and just weeping and putting his toys in a little bag ready to go tomorrow and thinking, oh, this is my last time I'm going to see my son. I mean, this brings out the heartbreak of birth mothers and birth fathers and placing their children for adoption. It also speaks to the children that are older, maybe in foster care, that are going through adoption. But anyway, just imagine them walking the dusty roads from their little huts, the Israelite huts, to the big shiny palace of Pharaoh. And this is where Hatshepsut, Pharaoh's daughter, lives. She is the one who discovered him in the basket. And they knock on the door, and I can just see the servant opening this just huge, humongous, fancy, probably golden door. And here comes Hatshepsut rushing to meet them, all dressed in these fancy clothes. And Moses is just terrified. And he looks around and I am sure thinks, I don't belong here. Where am I? This is all so strange. And she tried to hug him, and of course he pushed her away. And then Moses had to watch as his birth mom and birth father left, and his sister left, Miriam, left, and those big doors closed. And I can just imagine Moses laying on the ground, just having a temper tantrum. Hatshepsut trying to go over and comfort him, and him just pushing her away. Can't you see that? I mean, that is really, really a dramatic scene. But this is the way we adoptees feel, like we don't belong. This will come up at family gatherings. It will come up when you're talking about whether you have physical similarities are the same. We always talk about so-and-so has the Eldridge toes because they're kind of fat and chubby little toes with the nail that turns up. May come when you talk about preferences for food, because we are different. Well, what do you do with that, parents? What do you do with the differences? How do you help the child who feels like he or she doesn't belong? First of all, let me share that you celebrate the differences. Oh, we are so glad that you are incredibly talented at playing the piano. We can't even read a note. Don't try to make us like you. Instead, celebrate the differences. I'm going to ask you on my Facebook page now to share different ways that you have learned to celebrate the differences of your adopted child. And in time, even though these feelings don't go away permanently, because for we adoptees, this is, and for adoptive parents as well, and birth parents, it is a lifelong journey where we're constantly learning. The feelings will diminish in time, and we'll realize we're having a, quote, adoption moment, make a choice and move on. But what are some of the ways that you have learned to kind of normalize those feelings and celebrate the fact that your child is such a wonderful person and adds so much uniqueness to your family? I look forward to your responses. Thanks a lot.